In a bid to address the requirements of the Nigerian payment industry and fast-track financial inclusion in the country, Central Bank of Nigeria has unveiled the Nigerian National Domestic Card Scheme. Omoniyi has the event and filed this report.
The Central Bank of Nigeria, in collaboration with the Nigerian Interbank Settlement System, NIBSS, officially unveiled the Nigerian National Domestic Card Scheme. The new domestic card scheme is a robust in-country scheme tailored to address the specific requirements of Nigeria's payment industry and provide innovative offerings to the Nigerian market and beyond. Here is Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele.
It is important to note that the establishment of national domestic card schemes is in line with domestic global trends. Nigeria, by this initiative, will therefore be joining countries like China, Russia, Turkey, and India, who have launched domestic card schemes and harnessed the transformative benefits for their respective payments and financial systems, particularly for the underbanked. This effort is not a quest to prevent international service providers from continuing to provide services in Nigeria. Rather, it is aimed at providing more options for domestic consumers, whilst also promoting the delivery of services in a more innovative, cost-effective, and competitive manner. Ladies and gentlemen, the CBN is committed to a robust, efficient, and safe national payment system and welcome innovation from both domestic firms and foreign investors. The Nigerian market is vast, and the current participants have done so much in the last 12 years to transform the ecosystem. Is the fact that it avails us the sovereignty of our data. 2 is that it comes at lower cost. 3 is the issue of foreign exchange usage. And Andrew Walden actually aptly emphasized this.
The unveil is in line with the CBN's mandate to promote financial security, stability, inclusion, growth, and empower Africa's payment ecosystem.
As you are all aware, technological advancement, rapid innovation in financial services globally, and the forward-thinking regulatory stance of the CBN has offered us unique opportunities in Nigeria to drive cashless transactions, to boost financial inclusion, to deepen the financial system, and to promote inclusive economic growth.
Afrigo, as it is called, helps to ensure the sovereignty and security of payments in Nigeria, reduce operational cost, reduce FX cost, and enhance financial inclusion.
All right, joining us to discuss further with regards to the domestic card and also the payments infrastructure in Nigeria is Omoniyi Kolade, who's the CEO of SeerBit. Nii, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. So from your vantage point, I guess what does this domestic card mean for businesses that process payments or will be making payments?
Thank you very much for having me. I think I'm looking at just what the CBN governors have stated, right? I think it's a forward thinking for the nation as a whole. Looking at the value chain of payment today in the market, what you realize is that the cost of actually processing payments, just using the types of cards we have in the market today, right, is not something that is actually sustainable, because some of the costs it takes to process payments actually edge against FX today. So if today I have to do a transaction, right, the cost of my transaction and part of it is already edge against FX. So introducing this kind of innovative and approach for a card, for a domestic card like this, actually help us to look at the cost of transacting and the revenue we are looking at having the same balance in the market for the first time, where my same cost is almost the same cost for my revenue now. And one of the key things also that we've seen for businesses is if I look at how much it's going to take to issue a card or when it comes to financial inclusion, right? It's actually expensive for some financial institutions actually when they have to actually procure some of this card. Comparing having a local card, right, that is actually switched or actually processed locally, right? It gives so much actually room for innovations. It gives rooms for growth for the market as a whole.
All right, how would you describe the payments infrastructure in Nigeria at this time?
Okay, where we have, I think, as a country, actually, if you look at it, the biggest enemies all of us are fighting is cash. You understand? Which is still the king. For every 7 transactions you find in the market today, I would say 5 of it is still on cash. And looking at that dynamics of problem, we're looking at an opportunity to see how we can grow and switch from that position. Recently, there was a policy from CBN about cash withdrawal, which actually was supposed to actually reposition us towards digitalization. Now, today, I think we're seeing so much mature in the market when it comes to payments. We've seen introduction of a lot of fintechs, right? And we're seeing a lot of balance in all areas where payments is required. Now, payments is actually between different stakeholders when it comes to P2P, when it comes to business to customers, customer to businesses. We started seeing like a quick uprise from fintechs as a whole, where we've seen different kind of people trying to solve the key problems, majorly in key areas and gaps in the financial space today.
All right, and what does it take to build the kind of unified payment system that you guys at SeerBit are working on for firms?
So for us, I think it's all about making sure that no customer is differentiated, and also a business has what it takes to be able to drive a seamless payment solution into the market as a whole. That means how can I build a solution that actually makes everybody inclusive? You understand? That's what SeerBit is actually doing, making sure that we can actually be able to offer payment across every different verticals you have, right? Where we have so much high dominance of cash, right? Making sure that we can digitalize those value chain from the point of the solutions of businesses down to the last mile as a whole. And that actually requires us to actually look inward in different ways to look at where are the key challenges, where are these opportunities need, where are these need actually requires, and we making sure that we can actually build solutions to make sure we can manage the entire value chain for businesses today.
A lot was said about security at the unveiling of this Afrigo card. From your vantage point, how secure are payments in Nigeria? And if you want to even include Africa at this time, well, how do you see things as far as the security perspective?
Okay, when we talk about security, I think we have to look at it because today I think we have security in some of the payment solution, right? But I'm not sure about the level of orientations that we have about this when it comes to security, right? Because I think there are different GS of payments or security that has been actually enforced in different payment solutions today in the market, right? But I feel that for every kind of ticket size, or let me say the kind of transaction value, or the kind of transaction you're trying to use to transact, right? There's a certain level of security that has actually been enforced from different financial levels, right? But again, to give you your own flexibility, I think it's now very back to customer choice. What are they willing to actually be able to make their life more effective while they are still transacting? So I think there will still be this question of is security still as firm as it is? I'm not sure where we're supposed to be, but I think where we are, I think there's so much that has been done so far in the market. But I feel that there has to be more sanitization in the market where people really understand what are the capability they have when they have payment solutions and when they need to transact.
All right, so whenever one makes payments, when we talk about contactless payments, QR codes and the likes, even POS transactions, transfers and everything, network, quote unquote, keeps coming up. What's your take on internet connectivity? Is it all about internet connectivity? Is broadband the key piece to solve the payments puzzle in Nigeria and across Africa?
Yeah, I must say it's one of the required infrastructure to really drive when it comes to digitalization in payment, right? But I think there's also a part of infrastructure. What do I mean by infrastructure? How easy are these devices? You understand? How easy are they accessible when it comes to smartphone? You understand? How easy can we get this kind of smartphone to the last mile? You understand? To the people we're looking at when it comes to financial inclusion as a whole, right? So I think there are a lot of other elements that actually needs to be looked at to actually combine together before we can actually say, you understand? It's not just about internet alone. It's about a lot of elements, putting them together to be able to get to the position we need to get to. Internet, yes, is one of the key part of the infrastructure elements that is required. But I think there's so much improvement we've seen, right? And also we're seeing a direction to 5G also, right, coming in, which I feel that is going to actually give more reliability also for the kind of services being deployed. But again, it's not really just only internet that you have that you need to be able to facilitate payment today. I think there are other solutions like USSD, right, which has been designed for some certain class of market today. So from my own view, I feel internet it's a way forward, and we are actually going towards where we need to be, where we expect it to be. But I feel that there's more to be done also at the government area, and more to be done when it comes to other elements of the infrastructure to actually be able to get that seamless engagement.
All right, so you'll have to forgive me. You mentioned 5G, and that's a trigger point for me. And I know that's still internet, but forgive me. What does 5G mean for payments? What does it bring forward? You mentioned reliability. Is it that?
Yes. So I think if you look at it, for every layers of when it comes to connectivity, internet service you look at, right? It's more about being able to go from a level of stability, advancements, and innovation. But 5G is not really about internet. I think it's more about the Internet of Things, right? It's actually beyond. But when we say 5G, we're looking at ability to layer more infrastructure. You understand? Using that capability to leverage more payment solutions. You understand? And using that advantage to drive new ideas behind payment today that we are looking at when it comes to facial recognition, identity management, and so on. So 5G is not just about internet. It's about just it's an infrastructure we are looking at that actually is going to give an open way for more innovations. You understand? When it comes to payment also.
You know, speaking of innovation, speaking of where payments can go, I don't know if I'm getting ahead of myself, but there's been talk of a future where plastic cards are phased out completely. How far away are we from that future? Do you see it down the line?
Yeah, so for cards, right, I think if you look at the trend in the market, right, we're talking about contactless recently, and then we're looking at the cases where you have different digital banks today actually issuing what they call virtual card, even banks, financial service are issuing. I feel that their peculiarity based on demand in the market and based on different customers' appetites or what the market requires. And the market is actually most of the time they define how we move and how things should go. So if the market is actually tending towards a new direction, I think it's not really about us, how we can control it. It's about the appetite of the customers and where the market is actually driving towards. So we cannot say for sure now that card is going to be obsolete, but we've seen innovation like Apple Pay where you can actually link your card directly to your phone and then continue doing your tap and pay continuously. So I think there'll always be a relevance, but I think all of us have to watch and see how the future holds and see how everything proceeds over time.
All right, great stuff. Ni, thank you so much, CEO of SeerBit, talking to us about payments across the Nigerian and Africa's ecosystem. It'll be very, very exciting to see where things go forward from here. Appreciate your time.